I love democracy. I love the Republic.
Hello everyone, welcome to this first map guide. The purpose of this guide will be to share with you some useful locations on several maps of the game, that way you'll be able to enjoy earning some easy self-reliance and research points. Just a disclaimer before we start. I might show spots that include spawn camping. I know it's dirty, but let's be honest, that won't stop the enemy team from doing it to you as well. Blame the map design. I will consider all maps like domination missions. Basically, that's the 3 capture points mission. Most of these spots have been used with vehicles between rank 1 to 6, so it might not work for higher tier, so keep that in mind. And finally, these locations suit my personal playstyle, which is to snipe. If you prefer a more nervous playstyle, or if you want to play the objective, this guide might not be for you. Now let's get into it. Today's map will be the first version of the second battle of Alamein. Okay, good, so we are on this side of the battlefield. So keep in mind that I don't have a script or anything, so I might say clumsy things at times, please don't kill me. Okay, first you might want to select this spawn here, because most of the action will be located between the B and C point. I'll pick the Marder because it's fairly fast, and I don't want to take too long going to my first spot. So let's go. Straightforward. Okay, so basically this is the spot. However, you might want to uproot this tree for a better line of sight. Okay, perfect. Now, let's reverse a bit. And by exposing only, well, your turret and a bit of your back, you can see this intersection that is leading between the enemy's spawn point to the C point. Basically, it's this road over here. You can intercept them here, and you can also see over there, that's the other way to reach the C point from their spawn. However, you will need good reflexes to kill enemies, because you don't have a large window of opportunity to shoot them. If you stay behind those rocks, there we go, you can only expose your turret and shoot basically every enemy that wants to go towards the B point, coming from this position. Very powerful position. And of course, if you missed 1 or 2, you can still intercept them in the village. Most of your shots can go through those houses. Well, maybe not the shots from the Marder and the autocannon, but usually a normal tank, it can go and get a shoot through all the buildings in the village, most of them. For this spot, I will try to rate it. I will try to rate the survivability, accessibility, and kill potential. First, accessibility. Honestly, it's a 5, because you can reach this place with a heavy tank, a medium tank, a light tank very easily, and it's very safe. I mean, you won't get intercepted because the enemy cannot reach this position first. In terms of survivability, I'll give it a 3.5. Even though you are protected by those rocks, you are not invulnerable. Enemies can still shoot behind. I'm not sure I can see it from here, but if the enemies go to this plateau over here, I think it's behind the tree. I'll try to. So basically you have enemies that can shoot you over there. If you are spotted by a light tank or something, they can still shoot you. But you can also intercept them on their way to this position over there. I'd like the tree to disappear, that's the path for them to reach those positions, and you can intercept them. And also because once you are spotted by enemies coming from here and you don't want to engage them, you don't have much ways to retreat safely. So basically this spot will be your tomb. While editing this video, I just noticed that I forgot to include the kill potential on this spot, so my apologies for this one. So in terms of kill potential, I'll give this one a 3. It's very random. Sometimes you'll have tons of enemies going toward C point and B point, and sometimes they will just flank from other routes and you won't be able to shoot many enemies. For the second location, you won't be able to reach it from every game, mainly because it depends on how well your team will perform. If you have a good control over the B and C point, but most importantly the C point, because you'll be very exposed from this side, you might want to go down and start climbing this. Keep in mind that you're very vulnerable when crossing this road. Honestly, you're also very vulnerable when you're here, because it's the intersection, as I said, between their spawn and the C point. But if it's safe, keep moving forward. Same thing, intersection of the first and second road, here and here. So basically you can stop here and intercept them if you want, but you're very unsafe, so I suggest you continue, keep climbing. And from here you can basically spawn camp the enemy. Very easy. You can keep intercepting them if you move a little bit forward. And if you really want, and if you feel really safe, you can even go on top of the hill and shoot all the enemies that are on the B point. Literally, you can see every access to the B point. Here, 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 and those two, but this is where you're coming from. Basically you can also see this one, but that's also where you're coming from, so it should be safe. And you have more cover from here, honestly, because of this position. Okay, so for this position, in terms of accessibility, I'll give it a 1, because it's very unsafe, it's very risky, and it's very unreliable. If your team doesn't perform really well, you will never be able to reach this position, unless you are a very fast light tank like an ABR or M16, something like that. You might have a chance to reach this position before the enemy starts coming from all the intersections, so you might surprise a few of them, but most of the time you won't have the opportunity to reach this position. In terms of survivability, I'll give it a 2 or 3, 2. A 2, because it's a very well known position and planes will obviously try to strafe it, and everyone will keep an eye on this position. And finally, in terms of kill potential, I think it's a 5. Most of the action is, honestly, you're in the middle of the action. Everything, imagine like a big circle, and that's here, that's the position of the battle that will take place in this map. A is a joke, honestly, and you're in the middle of it. You can see everything from point B to point C, and if you're good at concealing and everything, you might become very much unstoppable here, or very hard to kill. Now, that's all I have for this side of the map, so let's try to move onto the other side. Perfect. So, same thing, select this spawn point, number 2, and spawn. So on this side of the map I only have one location, because I will not include this one when you're on this plateau, because it's very obvious. People will always keep an eye on this position and it's not very interesting. So For this spot, you will take some time to get there, so we'll start moving immediately, go right, but it is extremely rewarding. So, we have almost reached a good position. However, once you are here on this little hill, you might want to stop for a second and check that you don't have enemies looking at you. Because for the next few seconds, you will be extremely vulnerable. So, if it's clear, keep moving forward and climb this. It might look steep, but honestly, I've reached this position with Tiger 2, so a Marder should be fine. And there we go. So here you have two options. You can go for a safer route on the right, but a little bit bumpy and you might get stuck, or the left route, which is leaving you a little bit vulnerable, but I'll take this one just because there are no enemies in this game. But you might want to always keep an eye over there on the sea point if you don't want to get killed. Oops, I failed. Sorry. Might have been a bit too ambitious on this. And perfect, we're on the plateau. So keep moving forward. As I said, if you're using this route, keep an eye on what's happening on sea. And if you use the other route, you should be coming from here, which is safer. Now, go down here. And if you position yourself like this, you will see all like 90% of the B point, including several access points. You can also see everything that's or most of the things that are happening near the C point, including all the enemies that would try to snipe you from the fortress or from the plateau over here. And if you move a little bit forward, you can intercept all the enemies coming to the A point. Even though there are dunes, at some point they will be vulnerable or out of cover. So that's when you take your shot. Finally, if you want to see everything that's happening on the B point, you have to move forward on this brown rocky area. And there you go. You see everything on the B point. Now, in terms of accessibility for this one, I'll give it a 2 because it's very technical and it takes a lot of time. You're also a bit unsafe at some points, but honestly, it's really worth it. In terms of survivability, I'll give it a 4 because if you go back to the first position that I've showcased, you can see everything going to A with your binoculars while being completely safe. You can see most of the things happening on the B point and the little town while being completely safe. And you can see everything that's happening near the C point while being completely safe. Also, it's not a well-known location, so basically people won't look here and you'll have the advantage of the surprise, increasing your chances of survivability. Same thing with the planes, they don't expect you here, especially if you have a good camo, so not like what I have right now. And in terms of kill potential, honestly I give it a 5. People trying to push your spawn, you can intercept them at several points. You can set them here and here. You can kill basically everything that is going towards the B point. You can kill the enemies that were on the previous position over here, and you can intercept everything that's going to the A point. So honestly, a good 5. There's no better position on this side of the map. So that's it for this map. If you'd like to see some proof that these spots are effective, I suggest you go check the videos I did on the Tiger 2 or M36. An upcoming video on the VK will also showcase how good those locations are. Finally, since it was my first attempt at making a comprehensive guide, I would gladly welcome any feedback that you are having to make the next ones even better. As always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.